You shove them in your ears. I love scouting boutique audio brands. The folks at Periodic Audio sent over a little care package with some great earbuds and a super cute little amp. Mentioning this on Twitter, I got a handful of replies from other techies all glowing over this brand. Spending some time listening to this lineup, I can see why. We've been in a lopsided conversation about audio. Bluetooth has won a huge amount of mindshare over the last couple years, but often at the expense of audio quality, connection stability, and price. It doesn't matter how old-fashioned you think this connector is, if you want the best delivery for audio, you use a cable. Periodic approaches their vibe with a ton of wit. These guys are nerdcore about their offerings. It's the personality, and thankfully, it's not all image. They do a pretty good job backing up their claims. Even the company's name is a hint at what they're about, and it's a unique hook. We'll get back to that in just a bit. The design is super simple. Periodic isn't looking to make a huge fashion statement. In-ear monitors, no frills, no inline microphones. Though I will admit, it took me a minute longer than it should have to notice the red grill on the right earbud. There's no other marking on the buds to indicate left channel, right channel. Every pair of Bullet IEM is basically the same casing, but a different color rear cap to differentiate. Super well accessorized. We get foam and silicone ear tips, both single and double flange for the silicone. We get a little carry hard case, 1/4 inch and airline adapters. It's all pretty standard stuff. So why all the glowing? It's honestly not hard finding great sounding earbuds these days. Periodic's game is fresh though. There's a nerdy science twist to their IEM lineup. At first, you think they're just coming up with fun product names. Carbon, beryllium, magnesium, periodic audio. I get it. But it's not just a label. When they call a product magnesium, it's because they're using magnesium as a material on the diaphragm. What you're paying for is an experiment employing different exotic materials, and you're listening to how those materials alter the sonic characteristics of in-ear audio gear. Instead of playing with hybrid or multi-drivers, different materials affect flexibility and rigidity of the diaphragm, and that's partially what's responsible for the tuning on each set of periodic earbuds. The product descriptions are super nerdy as they break down the different material characteristics. And Periodic is really upfront about each earbud being a different tuning exercise. It's a nerdy hook, well explained, and their description of each bud lined up pretty well with what I heard comparing the different options. This for me is an increasingly important selling point. One of the moves I recently praised from Me Audio, better detailing of sonic characteristics and explaining those differences more effectively to consumers. So here's the deal, as I see it. A big old, in my not so humble opinion, when it comes to audio gear, like headphones and microphones, after a point, as prices climb, you're not really paying for quality anymore. At least not in the way that consumers understand the word quality. This is tricky to explain, so let me ramble here for just a second. Noise, clarity, distortion, fit. There's a huge improvement moving from cheap disposable earbuds to something a little more expensive. You can hear that improved quality. Climbing up the ladder though, audio gear doesn't continue to improve like that. The price increases no longer reflect a correlating improvement to audio quality. My favorite examples are microphones. My all-time favorite mic is the AKG C414, a beautiful studio-grade condenser, retails for around $1,000. But in a lot of recording studios, you'll often see a mic like the Neumann U87, and that's a $3,000 microphone. No one who knows anything about audio, no one worth listening to would ever suggest a U87 sounds 3 times better than a C414. That's just not something anyone would say if they valued their reputation. So why the difference in price when both mics can be used in a variety of similar situations? Tone, color, extremely nuanced audio characteristics, and to a lesser degree, the branding and manufacturing. The U87 has a specific sound and the C414 has a different sound. So if your project would benefit from the U87's color, then that's the price you pay to get that mic and get that color. I think headphones and speakers are kind of the same. When you normalize for category, earbud versus earbud, cans versus cans, there's a threshold you hit where you're not paying for the basics of quality anymore. Instead, You're paying to produce a specific color or tone you enjoy. Multiple drivers or exotic materials. Getting to that specific color or tuning can get pricey. But getting back to periodic audio specifically, verifying my hypothesis here, the good news is quality isn't necessarily dependent on price. The periodic magnesium at $99 are not 1/4 as good as the carbon at $3.99. That's not how any of this works. The magnesium are great, but I do agree with Periodic's assessment that they're brighter and probably better suited to instrumental genres, jazz, classical, acoustic sets. Beryllium was the most even-handed of the three, and carbon padded a little extra low end without falling into the trap of a hyped up deep V cut. And if this particular style of tuning, by the time we climb up to something like the carbon, we should also be looking at nicer hardware than a headphone dongle that comes with a smartphone. Carbon boasts extremely low distortion numbers, but the benefits of that aren't really realized if you're plugging these into a mediocre DAC or amp. Lastly, I think it's worth explaining a little what contributes to the price of a product like this. The packaging is nice, but maybe not as slick as some competitors. The little case included is likely stamped on the same kind of manufacturing line that makes cases for mints and gum. But the bulk of the designing, engineering, and assembly is handled here in the United States. Individual components might be manufactured elsewhere and shipped here, but packing a driver into a bullet case happens here. The last step of the manufacturing process with a focus on QA and good working conditions. Periodic isn't trying to flood the market with endless variations on drivers and plastic shells. They're trying to make a limited number of products the best they can. I, of course, have a few small concerns worth mentioning. Almost all of Periodic's design decisions come down to that nerdcore pursuit of audio fidelity, which means a few compromises for tech and lifestyle features. One example, they don't sell variations with microphones built into the cable. That introduces more distortion on the cable with the microphone, and they want their cables to be equally good performers. No headset mics. If you use their buds with the phone, your call audio comes from your phone's built-in microphones. Also, this build feels respectably durable. You'd expect that at these prices, but the cables are hard connected to the buds. Again, the best way to ensure higher fidelity and lower distortion is to remove additional connectors from the equation. One thing I really do like about some competing options like my Mi Audio, if I do something dumb and wreck the cable, I can pop that driver off and replace the cable. But we should probably wrap this one up. I've been rambling on long enough. Where does that leave us with the Periodic Audio in-ear monitors? I like these a lot. I can't stress enough how much of a benefit it is, in the nerdiest way possible, to see manufacturers do a better job of breaking down the differences in their product lines. You should be spending money to complement your specific audio tastes. Very generally, I have a trickier time recommending solutions like these to more novice listeners. Part of the joy, and unfortunately part of the expense, of higher quality audio is building up your own knowledge and taste, learning about what you like, listening a little more critically, then applying that knowledge to build the most satisfying audio chain for your tastes. I feel a little safer though when boutique audio brands make more of an effort to inform, and those differences can be heard. I'm not sure I can glow about these earbuds the same way some of my tech reviewer pals have. They are really nice sounding earbuds, but in my not so humble opinion, the critical advantage for someone considering a pair is the dedication to an engaged consumer conversation. On top of the excellent audio quality, that earns Periodic Audio a solid recommendation. I'll of course leave a link down below on Periodic Audio and where you can find more info on their different products. Not just earbuds and ear tips, I also mentioned they make a little portable amp, but I'll have to save this for another video. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. Supporting your favorite content creators has never been more critical than it is today. I hope you'll check out the links and the merch down below. That helps me not pack every video with baked-in ads and sponsorships. There's a support page on SomeGadgetGuy.com, or you might consider joining the list of names currently scrolling by on your screen. That's a growing community of fun, cool tech pals, so I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, and the Facebooks and the Instagrams, and I will catch you all on the next review.